from Luke chapter 16, verses 1 through 13. Here is a parable Jesus told the disciples. Once there was a rich and powerful man who had an asset manager. And one day the man received word that his asset manager was squandering his assets. The rich man brought in the asset manager and said, "You've been accused of wrongdoing. I want a full and accurate assetting of all your financial transactions because you are really close to being fired." The manager said to himself, "Oh no, now what am I going to do? I'm going to lose my job here, and I'm too weak to dig ditches and too proud to beg. Hey, I have an idea. This plan will mean that I have a lot of hospitable friends when I get fired." So the asset manager set up appointments with each person who owed his master money. And he said to the first debtor, "How much do you owe my boss?" And the debtor replied, 100 barrels of oil. The manager said, "I'm discounting your bill by half. Just write 50 on the contract." Then he said to the second debtor, "How much do you owe?" And this fellow said, 100 bales of wheat. The manager said, "I'm discounting your debt by 20%. Just write down 80 bales on this contract." When the manager's boss realized what had been done, he congratulated the asset manager for at least being clever. That's how it is, Jesus says. Those attuned to this evil age are more clever in dealing with their affairs than the enlightened are in dealing with their affairs. Learn some lessons from this crooked but clever asset manager, Jesus says. Realize that the purpose of money is to strengthen relationships and to provide opportunities for being generous and kind. Eventually, money will be useless to you. But if you use it generously to serve others, you will be welcomed joyfully into your eternal destination. If you are faithful in small-scale matters, you will be faithful in far bigger responsibilities. If you are crooked in small responsibilities, you'll be no different in the bigger things. If you can't even handle a small thing like money, who's going to entrust you with spiritual riches that really matter? If you don't manage well someone else's assets that are entrusted to you, who's going to give over to you important spiritual and personal relationships to manage? Imagine you are a servant and you have two masters giving you orders. What are you going to do when they have conflicting demands? You can't serve both. So you'll either hate the first and love the second, or faithfully serve the first and despise the second. One of these masters is God, and the other is money. You can't serve them both. Thanks be to God for the challenge of this word, paraphrased for us today from a version of Scripture called The Voice. About 10 years ago, a scandal of epic proportions rocked my home state of Kentucky. During the season, and when I say 10 years ago, this both feels like 1 minute ago and a lifetime ago. Do you remember way back when our nation was grappling with bank bailouts and companies